I am 34 years old. I have no friends and virtually no social life. And honestly, this is a really vulnerable share for me. It is quite intimidating to come onto the internet and be like, yeah, hi, my name is B and I have no friends. But that is my truth right now. And so we are gonna go with it. I think that it's really interesting that I have no friends at this point in my life because I am a marriage and family therapist. What that means is that I have literally studied and studied and studied human connection and relationships for over a decade. And so you might be wondering how I've found myself at this point in my life with no friends. I'm going to talk about my friendship journey. I'm going to talk about what I've learned in this phase of my life of having no friends, and actually, kind of maybe a little bit controversial, but how having no friends can actually be a healthy thing. If this video is resonating with you, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, so the friend journey. Beginning in kindergarten, I always found myself just like buddying up with that one little girl where her and I just kind of like resonated and we were like as thick as thieves. And so ever since I can remember, I feel like I have had one or two really good best friends and maybe have been like a part of a friend group, but the other friends have been like a little bit more distant. I did go to public school, I was socialized. I don't know if I found it like hard to make friends, but it definitely has felt anxiety provoking. And so when I got to college, I found alcohol and I used alcohol as a way to cope with my social anxiety. And I found myself being the life of the party, being super extroverted, just experiencing B in such a different way. Like I was so shy, I was so timid, I was very introverted and quiet. But with my friends, I could really be myself. But then in college, when I found the alcohol, it was like, oh, I can be myself all the time when I'm drinking. Cut to, however many years later, I got sober and I got a lot of clarity, obviously. And I realized, okay, I've like made a lot of connections that are not really feeling good to me anymore. So naturally, when people get sober, if you've gotten sober, you know this process. You just change your environment, you change the people that you're around, and naturally, a lot of people and friendships just fall away. You were only connecting with them in the bars or at the clubs or whatever, and because you're not simply not going to those places, they just can't last. So that was to be expected. That happened. And then as the years went on, I realized that there were like some core friends that were exhibiting like some toxic traits. Some things, some interactions left me feeling like very uneasy, questioning myself, questioning their intention, what's going on here. It was just leaving me drained and like confused and not feeling good. So I was at a point where I had to take an inventory of different friendships in my life. And a really close friend at the time just made me feel really unsafe with a lot of interactions when I was being vulnerable and I was sharing. And at this point in my life, I was having like a lot of really big wins. Gotten into a new relationship, I had moved, I was feeling like so good just about like my change of environment, change of scenery. I had gotten out of a really, really toxic, abusive relationship, and like things were really looking up for me. And when I was sharing these things with my friend, it just didn't feel good. She was saying that she was happy for me, but the emotion wasn't there. That connection wasn't there. You're a human and you can tell, you have a good intuition. You can tell when someone is saying something, but they really mean another thing. And that's what was happening. And that made me feel extremely unsafe. And upon reflecting more, I can see how that friend was so dangerous because she was sort of like an undercover hater. And so I want you to kind of take an inventory in your life, and it might surprise you, but family and your closest friends can potentially fall into that category. And that is such a dangerous connection to have because they're acting like they're being your cheerleader, but really on the inside, they're like projecting some of their own stuff onto you that is so not yours, and that could be bringing you down. When I realized this, I had to let her go. And that was so hard because she was like best friend. We were super close. And honestly, I'm not sure about you, but friend breakups have been so much more difficult to deal with than even romantic breakups. Like, this was so devastating, like, totally heartbroken over it. But it had to happen that way because my value systems had changed and we were just growing in really, really different directions. And if you've ever been through something like this, you know how painful it can be. And I saw this friend get on social media and post about her new best friend just like a couple of weeks later. And honestly, like, it broke me even more. It's like when you go on social media and you find out that your ex has a new partner, you're like, oh my God, I'm so behind. I need to go out and start dating. And that honestly put some pressure on me. And it made me internalize, what's wrong with me? Why am I not finding my friends? You know, like, I had released people and like no one was coming in. I didn't have a new best friend. I didn't have anyone to post. And so from that place, I felt really broken and really sad. But when I allowed myself to just feel that sadness and feel like the lack of friends in my life, it actually allowed me to learn so much more about me. It allowed me to go deeper with my self love and my reflections and really get clear about what I value in life. And what I've learned is that I want friendships with deep, authentic, genuine connection where we can like really support one another. And if one person, and this happens so often in relationship with woman to woman, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. I just think it's a product of the culture that we live in. But judgment happens, comparison happens, feeling insecure about the other one shining or getting more confidence, like that happens. That's a natural thing. And what I found is I want friends where we can talk about, yeah, I'm judging you in this moment. This is really hard for me to admit, but like, I have a part that's judging you. Or, wow, like, you're doing so great. You got a raise in your job. Like, you are living your best life. I'm feeling so insecure because I'm not doing that, but I'm really happy for you. But I'm realizing, like, yeah, like, that's not happening for me. And I feel a little stuck. When we can have those honest and really uncomfortable conversations, it leads to so much more authenticity and potential for deeper connection. And so that's what I've learned, that I really value that. And I'm not going to settle for just the surface. I'm not going to settle for, yeah, I feel you judging me. I feel you comparing, or I feel myself comparing, and we're not talking about it. We're just sweeping it under the rug and maybe talking to like another friend about it on the side. That just doesn't work for me at this point in my life. I've learned to become my own best friend. I would encourage you, just for a day or even just an hour, try talking to yourself like you would your very best friend. Show up with so much love, so much compassion, curiosity, but also keep it real. And you will watch how your relationship changes to yourself. It's going to shift your mood. It's going to shift your attitude. It's going to shift your interactions with everyone else. And honestly, that has been the best way to regulate my nervous system, is to talk to myself like I would my very own best friend. And you just cultivate so much love and appreciation for yourself that naturally, if you want, like, you're going to be vibrating in that energy. Other people that are vibrating in that energy, they're going to be attracted to you and they're going to want to be your friend. Okay, and here is the controversial point that I'm about to make. Having no friends can actually be a healthy thing. And I know what you're thinking. Humans are social. Humans need connection. And yes, while all of that is true, going through a phase of having a lack of friends can be super healthy, in that from that empty place, I actually manifested the love of my life. So when all of these friendships were falling away and I literally didn't have really anyone except for my animals, I manifested so much self love, and that naturally attracted my wife to me. So I will argue that being in a space of lack, not only do you learn so much, but obviously something's going to be birthed from that place. Think about it. Like, we are nature, right? And so nature changes all the time. Humans naturally change and shift. We go through life and change, whether we want them to or not. You know, we can try to like keep things stuck and stagnant, but it doesn't work out like that. Life happens. And so you're not always going to be in this place of lack of this, lack of that. Like things will shift and turn for you. Think about it this way: without destruction, there can be no creation. And so oftentimes things have to fall away, fall apart, get destroyed for something more beautiful, more grand, more in alignment with you to be birthed. And so that's kind of how I see my no friends phase at this point. I'm not really having those, solid friendships that are near to me right now because I had to let go of them. From that place of letting go of those friendships, I know that something much more beautiful, much more in alignment is going to flow through, just like it did with my wife. And I know that my friends are on the way, and it doesn't have to be a lot, quality over quantity, 100%. Having no friends can also be a healthy thing because in the space of lack of friends, I've learned how important it is to protect my own energy and to be more discerning with who I let into my life. And that is such a valuable lesson and such a healthy thing. I think before I went through this phase, I would just kind of allow whoever showed up to like be in my space and to access me, And that's not obviously always a healthy thing. You don't know people's intentions, their toxic patterns, what sort of energy they're bringing into your space. And so the discernment has been huge. If this video resonated with you at all, please put a comment or a little heart emoji in the comments below. Let me know that you feel me and that you see me. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And I'll see you in the next video.